Hello, class. I know we've been talking a lot about different types of communication and how sign language and Egyptian hieroglyphics are part of those. So we're going to make an accordion book out of the Egyptian hieroglyphic signals. So the first thing we're going to do is start with the steps of the accordion book. You need paper, which will be outlined by the teacher already, glue, and scissors to make the book. So the first step to making our accordion books is to take the piece of pre-lined paper and we're going to use the scissors to cut it out. So we're just going to follow along the lines with the scissors, but we're making sure to only cut the solid lines and not the two hashed lines. So as I am cutting, so as we're cutting this, I want to talk about one of the artists that uses this technique. Her name is Susan Gaylord, and she has a website, and it's called bookmaking.com, where she has so many helpful hints and ideas on how to make books that are not only the accordion book, but other books as well. So after you cut along the two solid lines, you're going to be left with a perfect square. So for the next step, we're going to use these two hashed lines we have on the pre-cut paper. So what we're going to do is use the two lines to make a fold across the page. So if you need to draw another line to make it straight and make it even, or if you think you can evenly fold it on your own, go ahead and try that. And then after you have it folded, it's going to be a flap like this. And now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to fold the paper in half, Hamburg style, but we're going to fold it to the edge of the flap. We're going to keep the flap folded during this. So we're going to fold it to the edge of the flap and fold it in half, straight as you can. And then we're going to open it up, and then we're going to fold the two edges into the center crease. So we're going to take the one edge and the other edge, and the edge with the flap, remember we're not unfolding, we're using the already folded flap as the edge of the paper. So now you have 4 folds. So now we're going to take the paper and we're going to do it the other way. We're going to do the same thing again. Keeping the folded flap on the bottom folded, we're going to fold the paper in half again. And then we're going to fold the halves, the sides, into the middle. Now when you open the book, you should have 16 symmetrical squares, and when you unfold your flap, 4 small, tiny rectangles. So after we have our 16 squares folded, the next step is cutting. And when we cut, we want to make sure that we cut away from the flap and down the straight lines. So we're going to have 4 separate flaps, and on each of the flaps there will be 4 folds. So again, we don't cut the flap side, and we just cut along the pre-folded edges as straight as you can. And you're going to do that again 4 different times. Okay, and then after that you'll have 4 different things cut. And the next step is we're going to attach the 4 of them together to create our accordion book. So after we have all of our 4 strips cut, the next part is gluing them together. So remember how the flaps are such an important part not to cut? That's because that is what we're going to glue together to make our accordion book. So we're going to take a little bit of our glue. Okay, so after we have glue on the one flap, we're going to take the other flap and we're going to glue them together. It might be a little sticky, so you might have to let it dry before you move on to the next step. But each book is individual, so whether you want to have just the 4 strips of one cord of one of the folds of the accordion, or 8 squares, or you want to glue all 16 together, that's completely up to you as the artist of the book.